Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to Friday's maths lesson. I'd like you to look at the mental arithmetic questions on the page in front of you and pause the video to have a go. Welcome back, Year 4. I'm just going to reveal the questions and the answers to you now, and I'd like you to mark what you have done, please. Now, if I was going to be adding 400 at 900, then one way to consider that is to think that 1000 at 400 is 1400, 900 is 100 less than 1000, therefore my answer is going to be 100 less than 1400. If I'm doing 892 take 400, I know that half of 800 is 400, therefore my starting number is going to be 400. And as we've said previously, we still get to keep the 92 as there was nothing in the tens and ones to subtract from it. Moving on to today's lesson then, we're going to be solving more addition and subtraction problems. In order to be successful today, you are going to need to use your addition and subtraction method. And you're going to really need to consider carefully how to solve the problems today. If you're in the Sapphire group, then you're going to be consolidating your understanding from yesterday, and you're going to be using the inverse operation. If the bronze, silver and gold groups could have a go mentally at the questions now, please. Something subtract 20 gave the answer 30. Well, if I find 30 on here, hopefully we can remember this all from yesterday. If I subtracted 20, it means that my number was 20 bigger than 30. In other words, 30 add 20. So here is my starting number, and I'm going to be adding 20 in order to find what my starting number was. I can therefore see by adding 10 and another 10, by adding 20, I can see that and I apologise, that's not too clear just on the blue there, let's just write that underneath. I can see that I've managed to add 20 there. So starting on 34, it would be no different. If I've got to add 20, add 10, add 20, my answer is going to be 54. My answer was 50 to this question. I'm going to add 40, working backwards using the inverse. If I start on 22, I'm going to add 40 instead of subtracting it here, and that's going to give me the answer 62. And what I can do here is if I do 62 subtract 40, so here's my 62, and if I take 40 away, 10, 20, 30, 40, I can see I do indeed get to 22. As I say, if I start on 22 and I add 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, then I get to my starting number 62. Obviously the answer here, 17, adding my 60 is going to get me to 77. I'd like the Sapphire group to now start their work and check their answers with the online calculator, the link of which is on their work today. Now, this is the bronze challenge, but I'd like everyone to listen to this input because it feeds into the silver and the gold challenge as well. I have got a problem. There was 256 people on the train. At Eastleigh Station, 129 people got off. How many people were then on the train? And I'd like everyone in the bronze group to use this sheet which helps break down the problem for the first question. There will then be 3 other questions I'd like you to have a go at today. So what do I know from the problem? There's 256 people. 129 got off. If I'm going to represent that in a bar model to help me unpick the problem, I can see that my total, in other words, my largest bar is 256, and part of that large bar, in other words, part of the total, is 129. I'm trying to find this information here. Now, to speed things up, I have actually put that information on there, but it's important to recognise how we got to that information. So what was the number sentence? Well, it was 256 subtract 129. And by doing that sentence, I would obviously have found out this value here. And we can see when I solve it using my written method, the answer is 127. So there are now 127 people left on the train. That is the answer to my problem here. How many people were there on the train then? This is the amount that got off. This is the amount that started. This is now the amount who are remaining on the train. If I look at a different problem, this time I haven't got people getting off the train. If we read the question, I've got people getting on. There were 256 people on the train. At Winchester Station, 138 got on. How many people were on the train then? So what do we already know? There's 256 people and 138 got on. How can we represent this using a bar model? Well, this occasion I'm starting with 256, but I'm adding an amount to that. So I'm going to get a larger total. We can see what the answer is, but it's important we recognise how we got there. So my number sentence was 256 at 138. Here's my written method, and I've got the answer 394. So by adding the amount of people that were on the train to the amount that then got on, that's now increased the number on the train. And that's my number here, is the total that is now on the train, which answers this question here. If you're doing the bronze challenge today, I would like you to start your problems, please, now. You'll see that there is a grid for you to use to answer the first question. And I do want everyone to please draw a bar model and complete this grid. And then you have a further 3 problems to solve, and I would like you to make sure you show your working out. Now, if we look at the silver and gold groups then, your problem involves 2 steps rather than 1. If actually I was to put these 2 problems together, then we can actually have similar information within 1 problem. Now, the first thing that I do need to do, if we're going to put these together to make all things correct, then this obviously would have said Eastleigh as well. Essentially, we've got 256 people on a train. But we're saying there's a certain amount that got off, and there's a certain amount that got on. And how many people are then left? And we can see that's been put into this information here. So let's have a look at solving a problem like that. So I'm going to read my problem to you here, and then I'm going to model solving it to you, please. Please bear in mind, the same as the bronze group, you must complete this grid for the first question that you do today. And then for questions 2, 3 and 4, you can just show your working. There were 1,423 people on the train. At Eastleigh Station, 174 people got off. 159 people got on. How many people were there on the train then? Now, in order to complete this problem, I need to be completing a step 1 and a step 2. So what do we know? We know there's 1,423 people. We know 174 got off. We know 159 got on. So how can we represent this in bar models? Well, first of all, we need to use 2 bar models. I've got 1,423 people, and effectively 174 are going to get off. So I need to work out, if 174 have got off, what's my value here that's left? How many people have we got left? That's my value here. Because whoever's left on the train here, had those 174 stayed on, we would have had our total. So this is very clearly the amount of people left on the train. Now for step 2, we've got the amount of people that have remained on the train here. You can see I've used a question mark either time, or on both occasions. But then we're going to add 159 people who then get back onto the train. So if this is the amount of people that I had remaining on the train after the 174 got off, we're then going to add 159, hence the 2 added together will give me my answer to the problem of how many people are ultimately left on that train. Let's look at our number sentences then. 1,423 subtract 174. Remember, the 174 is the amount of people who got off the train. It's going to tell us then who is remaining on the train before that 159 get on. Then eventually we've got the amount of people left on the train. Once 174 have got off, add the 159 is going to give me my answer. So let's now complete those 2 steps. I can't subtract 4 from 3, and it's really important. There are just a couple of people sometimes put in an answer like 1 because they've subtracted the 3 from the 4. But actually I'm subtracting the 4 from the 3. So I need to exchange. Therefore, this is going to become a 1, carry my 1 across. 13 subtract 4 is going to be 9. 9 add 4 gives me my 13. 1 subtract 7 I also can't do. So I'm going to need to cross off the 4, making that a 3, carrying my 1 across. 7 away from 11 I can now do, which the answer is 4. 4 add 7 makes 11, in the same way 9 add 4 makes 13. 3 subtract 1 is 2, 2 add 1 is 3, and 1 take away nothing is 1. So my answer here was 1,249 people. That's the amount left on the train when 174 get off. I can put that into my bar model here as well. And when you complete your own problems, I would like you to do that. I'd like you to add the correct information into the bar model so they're complete. So my 174 people have got off the amount I started with. So this amount are left on the train, but now I'm going to add another 159 people getting on. So I need to change this to a 9, making sure that I'm keeping my numbers in the correct place value columns. 1,249. Add the 159 people getting on. 2 9s are 18. 4 add 1 makes a 5. Double 5 is 10. 2 add 1 is 3. Add 1 is 4. And 1 add nothing is 1. 1,408. Does my answer look realistic? Well, the amount that got off and the amount that got on was very similar. So my answer isn't going to be too dissimilar to 1,423, and it's not. It's 1,408. And actually, more people got off than got on. So my number should have reduced, and I can see my number has reduced down from 1,423 to 1,408. Therefore, I'm happy with my answer. Today's task. I'd like you to make sure, as I've said already, that you complete the grid for the first question, then show you're working for the next 3. And the answers to your questions are at the bottom of this sheet. I hope you enjoy the maths problems today. Good luck year 4, and have a lovely weekend when you get there. Thank you very much.